much for accepting this invitation, so we can create this beautiful article about your interior design path, but above all, to let us know a little bit more, not only about yourself, but also about the company. So with that in mind, how did your interior design path started, and how did you get into the position that you currently are in Long Luxury Home?
Actually, I'm graduated in architecture university, right? And the first job is I'm working with the company who create, design, import the cabinetry from Germany, right? So the first brand is we work with Simari Kitchen, and for that day I always I always contact with very high-end client. It's been very rich people, right?
Right.
And I recognize that it's their life. They're sharing their experience in their life, and I'm so interested in. And one day I start to work with interior design. It's mean before I just do a kitchen, kitchen designer. I'm a specialist, maybe 15 years already in the kitchen, and I'm also a co-founder of Thang Luxury.
Right. So basically, if I'm not mistaken, everything started with your passion with kitchens, so to speak. So basically, if I were to ask which would be the perfect, like the priority in terms of space for you to start with any interior design project, would that be the kitchen?
Should be, always.
Right. Always. Why do you think?
For the house, most of the people they love their house through our kitchen first. Because with our culture, the kitchen is the place we say that is a build the energy for the house, place for building energy. So most of the family, if they are happy, they are healthy, and they are, they have a good life, they have to have a good kitchen in the house.
Makes sense. Basically, the kitchen is where, if not the most busy part of the house, it will be, in most situations or for most families, the most used part of the house, right? It's usually where the families gather, either in the beginning of the day to prepare everything, or most likely by the end of the day when everyone gets back home following their jobs, their schools. So yeah, it makes total sense. So Mr. James, with that in mind, what do you love the most about being an interior designer? What's your passion, so to speak?
I love to inspire the living space because I want to go together with the owner to create and help them to build their dream of the house. It's been like for my best is consultant designer for the kitchen,
right?
Because they for the first beginning they come to us with the layout. We always focus on the kitchen first. Yeah, so I love to talk with the people and go together with them to build their dream.
So basically, when you, like in the first time you meet with your clients, how do you, what's the process? I mean, how do you get in the head of your client to understand not only their needs but also their desires, and how do you try to overachieve the desired outcome? What's the process behind it? Can you let me know a little more about it?
Okay. Mostly when the first meeting with the client, I always listening and I want to hear what they are sharing about their life,
Mm-hmm.
about expectation for living, about their job, about all the thing about their life. Because they share with that, so I will find out the point to help them or to go with them to create some space for what they are expecting.
Right.
Right? Example, like if they living in the childhood, they live in the house, they
Mm-hmm.
will the memory of that house.
Mm-hmm.
They will love something like a tree over there, the carpet, the color of the wall, and something. So they will tell me the story. So
Right.
when we build the house, I want to keep the memory in there
That
because
makes
the
total
memory
sense.
always live with them forever.
That makes total sense. And when you are creating, in this case, let's say let's talk about like the room that you prioritize the most, which is of course the kitchen. But specifically when you are creating the space of the kitchen, and of course after you understand what the client desires and what the client needs, what do you prioritize the most while creating these spaces? I mean, what's the most important part, or what's the most important thing when you are creating, for example, a kitchen space?
The priority is the performance of the space. It means like a circulation of using. It means
Mm-hmm.
in the kitchen, you have the circulation in the kitchen. You have to move around it every time
Right.
when you prepare the food, cooking, cleaning, and everything. So you have to arrange the
Yeah.
place for storing, the place for serving, and the place for cooking. So everything should be I mean, that is comfortable for using, right? So don't let them move too much on the kitchen when they're cooking.
Mm-hmm.
Because one day you can cook with two people, three people in the kitchen. So if you don't have the right place for them to use, so they will hit together, right?
Right.
Yeah. So the kitchen will be messy. That
Right.
is the first one for the performance of the living, the space. And the second, I create I follow the style of the design. It means the how the style of the house.
Right. It
And
has to be. It needs to have a flow and stuff. Right.
the third one is just a color, material, and some detail to make it
Mhm.
lovely and elegant.
Right. Speaking about the colors and the materials, let me ask you a question. What do you think that we can never mix together? I mean, in terms of either objects or colors, what should never be mixed, in your opinion, of course?
With me is no limit about
Right.
this if you have enough knowledge.
Right.
Yeah. It's mean like you see the fashion designer, right? The
Mm-hmm.
fashionist, they can mix everything in there to be to create the new style, right?
Right.
Because they have enough or more knowledge about that. They can mix with the textile, with the color, accessory, like a head and earring and something. So they can mix together to build their style. So with me, it's no limit about that.
As long
Not
as basically, as long as you have enough knowledge and
yeah.
you know enough about the client, what he likes and what he dislikes, and what their needs and their desires, sky is no limit. Basically, you can mix almost everything, right?
Yep.
Right. So, in your opinion, Mr. James, with the current situation, as we all know, we are facing a world pandemic called COVID-19. Um, how do you how it affected the interior design area? I mean, do you think, of course, it might have brought some challenges, but do you think it also benefited the area? I mean, in terms of like new opportunities or something?
Actually, it's when the pandemic coming,
Mhm.
so most of the business is have affected all.
Of course.
Nothing, just I think just some business can be grow up with pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
but not all. For the rest is will be affected. But I think is we always have a solution to against that. Example like we living in the we call that is now is a technology for generation already. So everybody contact with very fast, right? We
Right.
can have conference meeting like us right now, right? So we can have a meeting with the client online, so we can work, stay at home to work it because the internet now is very fast now at the moment.
Yeah, very good.
Everybody can connect very quickly. So I don't think that is it affect much in the interior design because interior design is mean like when you create something and you want to show to the client, you can show anyway. You can meet them or you can conference online conference, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I think that is for the interior design. Maybe something I think is bad. It's better because they will slow down a bit when they stay at home, and maybe they have more idea about create something.
Right.
Because normally it's everything is work together very quick, right? So they have no time to think back, right?
I
So
get
now
what you
it's
are saying.
people they stay at home, they work, and they always thinking. So maybe they create something better.
Right. So basically, by forcibly staying at home and by forcibly having more time in their own lives, people start to think better about what they want to do or what they want to create, or even in a customer perspective. You can correct me if I'm wrong. The customer starts to think more specifically what he desires, right? And it will help by the end of the day. It will help the interior designer in achieving those needs.
And
Makes
the good
sense.
news also I think is a pandemic coming.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody will go out much, right?
Right.
In the weekend, right? So they
Yeah.
have time for them, right? They have more
Right.
time for themselves. So they have
You
to
have to. Yeah, of
or they
course.
read book or something, right?
Yeah. You have
But
to
it's
reinvent
not
yourself in a
have
way.
not
Right. So, I mean, how do you think the work of an interior designer so it looks like in the world situation? I mean, what I understood that in terms of like challenges and new opportunities, the interior design area as a whole had to reinvent itself a little bit. But what do you think is the next step to further increase in not only the business but also the interest in the interior design?
actually it's with me. My point. The
Hmm.
interior design is if the job is will be always be affected by the how to say them uh, the way they create the new material, you know,
Right.
right? Because if something new, the interior design have to be updated
Hmm.
and create something new. So at the moment, I think one more thing I always think about this is AE. AI. It's mean in how to say it's mean the computer now is can do something very good. Even when I see the software, they just do very simple drawing, but they can create very nice pictures. It means that AI can do it. Maybe in the future we can be affected about that, but
Right.
not
So
not the nearly future, not the nearly future. But I think the effect for the next for the interior design is just about how the scientists go up or because they will create more example, like many years before, right? We just had few material to do it, but now it's more and more and more, right? They appear about textile. They have so many textile. You have so many kinds of formica and everything. And the wood now is they have a plywood, MDF, So before it's just only a solid wood.
Right.
But now
so basically,
yeah.
Thanks to technology. Yeah.
Yeah, the technology is go up and interiors will be go up too.
Right.
So the next is belong to how they create the new material of the
new materials and new ways of producing production techniques, and also, of course, technology, as you are saying, and I totally agree with you. Technology will have a very important role in the interior design area. Yes, it makes total sense, and I also agree with you. So, still talking about the next step. What do you think it will be the next step, not only for you as a professional, but also to your company? What would be the next step?
We will focus on the high level client. It means they travel a lot and they always enjoy the space, like in very luxury place, and they want to bring it to their house. And I always looking for the brand to adapt this. So example, like that's why I love to work with the COVID house, because they create, they can make they have a good design, right? They have a
well, in my opinion, in my honest opinion, I think so, of course.
So I can bring that to the house.
Right.
Yeah. So for the next business, it's like that. I will focus on that.
So basically, you're saying that
or
in the following years.
Yeah, and depending on the which country, right? Because our country is in development, right? In development, right. They grow up very fast every year, and of course, and then the rich people will appear too, right? And they will got experience about they travel a lot, so they have more experience about living,
more knowledge as well.
Yeah, they expect more,
right?
And we have to adapt this.
Of course, you have to meet their expectations. Of course, you have to challenge yourself every day. I imagine to achieve your client's expectations.
I share with you that is I have a client. They build a house and they want the chandelier in the living room.
Right.
And the first time I proposed some chandelier very nice too, some from Baccarat or something. Yeah, very nice chandelier. But they also request for something more special. So I think that is just a bespoke sculpture lighting only. So I find myself for the information about which company can do it for the chandelier. We don't call it chandelier because now it's very big now. It's called the sculptor lighting, right? It's when they can create something very special. So I found out it's a company in USA can do it. But they do very nice sculptor lighting like that in Singapore, in the ballroom, in the hotel. So I found them and then I contact them. So now they everything now is on the way now. The chandelier, the sculptor lighting have produces and shipping to our country. And it costs a lot.
I can imagine. But yeah, usually the unique costs a lot, and of course the beautiful things are expensive. But yeah, so basically you are saying that until you didn't get satisfied until you provided a great solution for your client. So basically your client was thinking about having something unique in terms of lighting, and until you figure out exactly what your client wanted, you didn't stop until you reach this, in this case, this company from USA where they create, let's say, sculptural lighting. So yeah, that's great. Of course, client is the most important thing. I also agree with you. And until we don't met their expectation, or at least until we don't provide enough solutions for them, we shouldn't stop at all, of course. Now, you mentioned about covered group brands, and I wanted to ask you about that. I mean, I've seen that you work with us before, with brands such as Bravo, Boca de Lobo, Luxxu, and even Polcast. Specifically about these brands, what do you like the most about them, and why do you choose those brands specifically?
Okay, so for the first is I love to combine the we call that is a neoclassic style
Right.
with art decor. With the art decor style, I want to combine it because it have a little bit look like a very tradition, classical. It belongs to the memory, right? And the art decor is mean more unique, more modern, but look very luxury. So when you combine neoclassic and art decor, you have the living room, keep the history of the living before, and you have a new one, and look very glamour and very luxury.
Right, makes sense. Yeah. So if you were to choose your favorite design style, would that be a mix of both? I mean, the neoclassical with the Art Deco,
Yeah.
or right, makes sense. So all these design styles and even the brands from Covet Group, we value a lot the design. But also not only the design, but also the craftsmanship. So the fact that our pieces are handmade, and we try to revive some ancient craftsman techniques. With that in mind, Mr. James, do you think that your clients value the fact that the pieces are handmade? They value this craftsmanship?
You mean that this, of course, it's our client is always wants something very special, and craftsmanship is always the first choice
Right.
because they want to read their. It means they want to have something special, have their signature on that, because they can choose the color they want, they can choose the detail they want, and then choose the material they want, right?
Right.
So they create that.
So they are a part of the creation
Want to
process.
involve the design, right? Because they're very proud to show up that item to their friend. They say that this is my idea.
Right. I get I get it. So basically, what do you think that your clients what do you think they value the most? The fact that specific piece was I mean handpicked by him, or he was a part of this creation process, or do you think there's something else they value more?
They just want example like when I show the covet how item, they look on that and they will choose the design because they look on the design and they love that, but they want to modify a bit because they don't want to use something another people also have the
Right.
same. So they say, okay, I will do this one, but can we do with the top with the marble, or the top with the glass or antique glass or something? So yeah, that is the way they want because they pay too much for that, and they want to keep themselves on that. They want to put their signature on that also.
Right.
Yeah. So with me is all brand from Covet House. I love them all. So because each brand they have because example like a pool card, it's just only about a handle, knob. and Luxxu and Boca. Delightful also always the lighting. Luxxu also lighting. So
Yes,
all
yes.
of them is can create the
Now
room.
that's one of that you are absolutely right, Mr. James. That's one of the, if not the main advantage, but at least one of the main advantages by working with us, with COVID Group, because like you said, and you said it very well, we have so many brands, but the good thing is each brand has not only their own specific design style, but also some of them, such as Poolcast, for example, they focus on a specific set of products. Like you said, Poolcast focused a lot on hardware products. We consider ourselves hardware jewelry because they are very, very unique. But yeah, if you want to find, or if you want a solution in terms of lighting, for example, you won't find it in Poolcast. Instead, you have Luxxu to work with, or for example, Delightful. But if you are looking for something more in the lines of a contemporary design style, maybe Luxxu would provide you a better solution. But if instead you prefer to have, or if your client needs to have a more neutral design style, or even a more modern design style, some of the solutions you will find it in Delightful. So yeah, that's the beauty in working with COVID Group, is that regardless of the design style, or regardless of the type of pieces that you look for, you will most likely find a solution, or at least one, usually many solutions, but you will find at least one solution within our own group. That's true. So thank you for not only for your confidence and for trusting us in helping you in your projects. So Mr. James, regarding like the design in general as a global business, I understand that you have multiple high-end projects worldwide, but if you were to choose a specific region or even a country, what would be your favorite? I mean, do you have either a favorite country or region that you like to work the most, or not?
No, with me is I don't limit any brand because like I say because I always work with a client like that. Sometimes they go to travel, they take a picture of some item, they love that, and they ask us to use that in their house. So that means our job is always looking for that, contact to the factories, and choose the item with the material, everything, and then bring to their house. So that kind of work, that is my job. So I don't limit any brand. Just that, but we also have how to say the range. It's more luxury.
Right. So if you were to, of course, to select or to divide in terms of segment, of course, it would be the high end, the luxury design style, of course. But you don't, for you, doesn't matter if you are working in a project in, let's say, in somewhere in Europe, let's say Italy, or for example, locally, right? For you, doesn't matter in terms of like region or even country. For you, it's the same. That's what you are saying, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I get it. So, still speaking about the design world, and what would be your opinion? What do you think, like in to all of your interior design colleagues, which room do you think they value the most? I mean, I understand that you specifically, your favorite part of the project, or at least the favorite division where you usually like to start the project, is the kitchen. But do you think all the interior designers like to start with the kitchen, or do you think there's other room or other division that they feel more safe, or they feel more comfortable in start?
I think most of the designer or interior designer they start to from the kitchen first. I think mostly
Right.
I think the client, they will invest much in the kitchen too. The second is in the living.
Mhm.
Third one is bedroom. I don't know. I talk about the opinion in my country, right, at the
Right.
moment. Because I don't know about the culture of another country. I don't know.
Mhm.
But with my country, most of the people they invest much in the kitchen.
Right.
And the second is a living room and the bedroom. That's all.
So, and in terms of pieces, Mr. James, what do you think are like the two most important pieces that makes the difference, and they are really worth investing in, like in terms of products?
I think it's belong to the living room. I think, yeah, maybe
So
the
in the
sofa,
living room,
right?
which,
Sofa
mhm.
and live chandelier. Uh, I think so.
So in your mind, it would be the bed, sorry, the sofa, not the bed, the sofa, and the chandelier. I get it.
Because
So,
that is the place they show their position. Because
right.
when they invite their friends to come house, the first one they will see is the living room, but the second they will go to the kitchen because not much people invite their friend into their bedroom, you know.
We usually don't. Yeah,
So
makes sense.
don't invest much in the bedroom.
Right.
Yeah.
So usually of course, you hang out with your friends and with the people, with your family. I mean, either in the bed, in the living area or the kitchen area. So yeah, of course, makes sense for to have the most important products either in the kitchen, of course, or in the living area. And yeah, I get it. By choosing a good sofa and a good chandelier, it shows the status, right? It shows that the owner of the house as an important is an important person. I mean, or has a good taste, or shows good status. Correct.
Right.
So, Mr. James, in your opinion, um, how will the interior design world needs to adapt to keep up with the major changes the world is currently suffering?
You mean that is uh,
What I'm trying to know, Mr. James, is like the interior design world. How you mentioned before how COVID-19, how the world pandemic affected, of course, the interior design world and how they need to, which challenges they face, and also which opportunities arise. But my question is, this is, of course, we are still facing this um, current world situation, and we will probably be facing overall a big recession, a big financial crisis, or at least it might. It is estimated, of course. How do you think? My question is specifically, Mr. James, how do you think the interior design world will adapt, or what they need to do to to adapt um, and keep up with these major changes?
I actually I don't have much effect to think about it.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't know what they are facing because in my country everything is we are still normal.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how to explain how
Of
to
course.
share about that because I don't have any effect about that. So maybe in another country they have much
Mm-hmm.
effect than us. So maybe they have facing
Yes, of
they
course.
need to facing with that. But with me, I don't have any experience about that to share.
Right. Right. Well, that's the feedback. I mean, for you and in your line of work in your country, you aren't feeling these challenges. So that's good. That's the experience actually. So one last question that I would like to ask is that with the, I mean, with currently, basically you can get everything from anywhere at any time. So basically, with all this supply that we have today, with stores, with the showrooms, with decorators, the internet itself, where you can basically consult everything you want to know at the moment. How do you find the perfect piece, and how can the interior designers work offer the difference? Do you understand my question?
Yeah. I think most of the interior designers, they always looking for in internet because they always update something new. That maybe they can come to Pinterest or some website about interior design to update the new trend of the design. So on that website or on the information, they will dig out and they will find out some item very special. So I think most of the brand, they always focus to run advertisement on that too. So when everybody access to that website, they will see the item where depending on, because now you know Google, they have a very good machine. Every time when you're looking for something on Google,
Right.
also show you the ad, right?
Right.
So I think now it's everything very quickly. So I think nothing challenge to looking for something special anymore. Yeah, nothing.
But how do you think? How do you? But basically, how do you keep up with keeping the client interested? I mean, as you said, and you said it very well. There's a lot of offers. So basically, if I'm interested in something, or if I want to buy a product to my house, why should I reach an interior designer instead of just like ordering online? What's the main advantage, or what's the most important thing that the interior designer can offer to whoever is interested in let's say in remodeling the house or refurbishing a space?
I think they have to meet actually it's been the client and interior design have to have the point to work together.
Right.
So because if the first time when they meet together but they cannot find out any point to make together, so they cannot work together. So it's been if you like the neoclassic style, you will meet the interior design with that style. So if you meet them, they with their experience about that, they will find out something for you.
Of course.
Yeah. So that means it's for the interior design. So that's why all of interior design, they will focus on their style. They will concentrate on their style to view, because if they do like that, so they will be how to say specialist on that, right? So with me, so I only focus on that style, neoclassic and art deco. So one day I will meet the client, they ask for that, because otherwise I cannot work with some client. They come to us, they ask for contemporary, so how can I share the experience?
Of course.
I don't have, right? So it's mean like you asked for about that is my answer about this. So just find together.
Right. Basically, you need to find. You have to meet
The right people.
Right. Exactly. So, Mr. James, that covers everything that I wanted to talk with you. I mean, to ask. First of all, and once again, thank you so much for sharing your experience and even your passion. And I hope that you and the company, the Thang Luxury Home, keeps combining high quality interior design brand products and in order to create the perfect living spaces that you usually create. So thank you so much for this opportunity, Mr. James. Hope it was good for you as well. And yeah, let's hope. I hope to be able to work with you, or at least to start work with you. I know that you already work a lot with Covered House, with our brands, but I hope, as myself, and also of course as our department, Meetsales, I hope to have the opportunity in working with you in the near future.
Yeah, thanks for your time, Hugo.
No problem.
Nice
No problem.
to meet you, right?